Welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie. I am 27 years old. I am a mother of 3 beautiful girls, and I wanted to start off this channel with pretty much how I became a mother and when it all started for me. Now, I was not around a massive family full of siblings. I wasn't around babies. I was the baby in my family. I know a lot of people think that from pretty much my journey of being a mother, I was just always around babies, and I would get messages like, how do I do this? How do I do that? I have no idea. I just started learning myself, as every child is different. Every personality of a child is different. So even if you did try what I did, or I tried what others did, sometimes it wouldn't always work. So pretty much just figuring out motherhood as I'm going is my lesson to myself. All I know is that I've always wanted to have kids, and a few of them, which I'm very grateful I have. So my motherhood journey began in 2021 when I had my first miracle baby, Zaylee Jae, and the relationship I was in at the time, when we discussed about having kids, I didn't actually think that getting pregnant would be difficult, like at all. And the more it's spoken about, the more it's actually pretty common, like to have fertility problems or whatever else. I was actually one of them. I pretty much got told I couldn't have kids. I did a lot of research into it because at the time, the relationship that I was in, we both wanted a baby. And the more I looked into it, I did a lot of research, because obviously when it came to wanting a baby, the math wasn't mathing, if you know what I mean. So I then did some research, found a really good, well-known gynecologist. Pretty much during my first appointment, had heaps of questions, got heaps of answers. Bit of a new journey to start with, pretty much getting that ball rolling and seeing what the go was. So after that appointment, I had a bit of history with having cysts on my ovaries. So I knew that I had to, obviously, maybe that was a problem, and that's also why I went. So after my appointment, I pretty much was confirmed that I had polycystic ovaries and a really high chance of endometriosis. Now, having those two is probably one of the worst combinations to have when you want to have kid. It just puts pretty much your chances of being pregnant pretty low. It's like a bit hard when a lot of people are asking you, oh, when are you having kids, and when are you doing that, and whatever else, when sometimes people don't actually realize that you might be struggling. So that was also a pretty touchy subject for me. So I am very, very fortunate to have fallen pregnant with Zale J. Having two of the worst things to kind of have when you wanted to have a kid, it was a pretty big bummer. Anyway, after the appointment, started medication, and we were both so shocked that it actually worked the first time around. Very, very thankful, and it was just so nice to like see that after so many like negative tests or possibly thinking I was pregnant or something, and then it just wasn't it. After seeing 2 lines on a test, best believe I did like a few more, and I was like, oh my goodness, I loved it. I was like, yep, give me another test with a few lines on it. Thank you, I'll just have a look at that. So yeah, it was probably one of the most happiest moments, if not the happiest of my life. I was just in so much shock and so much happiness. Yeah, it was amazing. One of my dreams was coming true. This was the beginning of being a mother. Now, the first trimester I had, I was pretty sick, and I mean like couldn't keep food down, was losing weight, didn't like textures, smells of foods. Like I was really like sensitive when it came to all that stuff, and I was like, whoa, what is this? First of all, when you feel sickness when you are pregnant, it is a different type of sickness, like holy damn. And the only way I like describe it to someone, or my partner at the time, who obviously had no idea what the hell I was thinking or going through, it's like if you could picture the worst hangover you've ever had, like when you wake up the next day and you get up and your head's spinning and you can't lay back down because you still feel sick, or you really need to eat to soak up all that bad shit so that way you feel better, but you can't eat. So you know you need to eat, but you can't. You want to drink water, but it makes you feel sick. Oh, it's honestly like just being really hungover and you just want to stay in bed all day and do nothing. That's pretty much how I described it. Anyway, went to a doctor about it and pretty much got these tablets that help me keep food down, which was great because I would have one of those and then have food, and then I wouldn't want to feel like I was going to throw it up. So yeah, it took me a while. I was putting like ginger and lemon and shit in my water. Like, yeah, I was literally doing the most. That was pretty hard. I was probably sick until about 18 weeks, 16 to 18 weeks, like coming out of it, and then pretty okay from 18 weeks, which is a pretty long time. That's like almost half my pregnancy. But I will say that when you're first time pregnant, when I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, the easiest pregnancy, didn't have to run after any kids, could laze around when I wasn't working. It was great. I was very fortunate because I know you can have pregnancies a lot worse off. We also found out that the baby we were having was a girl after 20 weeks, just to make sure. You always hear stories, and I'm so glad. Pretty much with all my babies I've done that, so it's good. It's a good time to be, I guess, the most certain of your gender. So we found out that she was a girl. Over the moon. I kind of thought it was going to be a girl, so it was pretty freaking exciting. So as I was thinking of a name, I was thinking of something similar to either my name or Zaylee's dad's name. And pretty much what went with Zaylee's dad's name followed along with the nickname of ZJ. I always loved Z names, or names that started with Z. There was a hyphenated shop across from me, and I was like, oh, I loved like Zaylee, Zale, pretty much any name started with Z. And I thought that Zaylee was really different because I hadn't really heard that one before. Look, I'm sure it's out there, but then when I seen the J, I knew it was similar to Zaylee's dad's name. When I went home that day, I was like, oh, I really like the name Zaylee J, and it stuck. So thankful that it came out of nowhere and it was just agreed on, and that was her name. Okay, so leading up to Zaylee's birth. Now, I like to be pretty OCD with stuff. I was nervous and excited to give birth. I obviously had no idea what to expect for birth, as obviously I've never gone through it. But I did not know what the hell I was in for, I'll tell you that right now. So leading up to the birth, I got everything ready pretty much like straight after the baby shower. There was like, I organized everything, I washed everything. I just thought, look, if I'm unprepared for something, at least I can be prepared with the clothes ready, with my hospital bag ready, with anything I can be prepared for, I would be prepared for. And the rest, just let it, yeah. Okay, so I was just after 37 weeks pregnant. I had a massive bleed, like scary. So anyway, I was like, what the hell is this? I was very scared, I was very nervous, went straight to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, so this was like around Saturday morning, late morning. I was at the hospital all day until the night time, and I had all these different tests being done to see where the bleeding was coming from. Now, Zaylee was fine at the time. They didn't have any bad results from any tests, so they pretty much couldn't tell me where the bleeding was coming from, and Zaylee was fine. So in the end, they gave me the option of, you can either stay here if it makes you feel more comfortable with baby being monitored, blah blah blah, or if it happens again, like if you bleed again, you can come back in straight away or whatever. Now, where I was hearing ladies in labor, and I was freaking the heck out. So I was like, I'm gonna go home. So baby was fine, made me want to go home. Went home, hardly got any sleep Saturday night because I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I've been poked and prodded all day. I was tired. I had the shittiest sleep of my life. Anyway, woke up the next day, went to my mum's house, and then I went to use the bathroom there. And I remember needing to go to the bathroom, but I didn't need to go to the bathroom. Anyway, went to the bathroom. Then I was like, what the hell is happening? Looked down, blood everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh. My mum was like, I think this is a sign. And I was like, somebody tell me what this fucking sign is, bro. Anyway, so then I was like, okay, well, since I've already been to the hospital and they offered if I could stay the night, maybe I'll just take my hospital bag just in case I have to stay this time. Anyway, go straight to the hospital. Then they do pretty much all the same tests. Again, couldn't figure out where the bleeding was coming from. So at this point, it's pretty worrying. And the only other option they gave me was that the bleeding could be coming from the placenta, which is something they couldn't test. So then they said, out of the blue, that I will need to be induced. Now, in my mind, I had pictured a water birth. I had pictured trying to labor at home. So pretty much my whole entire vision of my first birth gone out the window. I was shattered. So I had testing all day Sunday, shitty sleep Saturday. Then all through the night on Sunday, they were umming and ahhing about putting me in an induction. And then after midnight, they were still concerned. So pretty much contacted my midwife. She said, I think you should have it done. Called my mum. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was still awake and pretty much told her I'm being induced. Now, Zaylee's dad was like, baby's coming. And I was like, holy shit, the baby's coming. So yeah, I pretty much said, I guess do what you gotta do. I mean, shit, I'm scared if I don't do it, right? So I was induced after 3:30 a.m. Again, no sleep. I was like, oh, great, ready for labor. Holy shit. Anyway, I was glad I had my hospital bag. I felt like some sort of prepared. I had everything I needed with me, snacks, you name it. So I had a balloon induction, and I had that in for about 12 hours. Now, normally it's just like a balloon full of water, and they, put it up there, and it's meant to help put pressure on your waters to break. It didn't work. So here I am putting more pressure up in there and walking around like I got a fucking pole up my ass trying to get some sort of movement up and down this freaking hallway. Okay, so while I had the balloon induction, during that 12-hour period, I only got 2 hours sleep. And I mean, when I got some sleep, I was like, when you're laying down pregnant, it is very hard to get up really quick. I'm just put that out there, okay? So they gave me some sort of pain relief medication. Now, when I look back, I'm like, I wasn't even in that much pain. I just took it in the fear of, am I going to feel pain? I'm about to go into labor. Why was that a concern? Anyway, so I took it. I'm pretty sure it was endo. Holy wreck. When I was laying down, all of a sudden, I was sleeping, by the way. And when I was laying down, I felt the urge that I was going to be sick. Now, my partner at the time was sleeping while I was sleeping, because obviously that's a good idea. Anyway, I couldn't wake him up. I was like, oh, bro, not his fault. But I was like, someone help me get up. I'm a fat fucker here. Anyway, he was snoring away, so there was no fire alarm, nothing that was going to wake that up. So I ended up just throwing up all over myself. And I mean, like, yeah. Anyway, so that was fun. Then I found the little nursey button. She came in, woke him up, cleaned me up. It was fine. And then, anyway, my induction proceeded. But I only got about 2 hours sleep since probably Saturday night. So it's Monday at this point. Now, the induction didn't work, obviously, because my waters didn't break. So they put me in a birthing suite, and me and my partner at the time were in there. Then my mum came, things started rolling, and pretty much they had to break my waters. Now, there was a few attempts to do this. That was probably the most painful part of my labour. Have you ever had your waters broken before? Ever had someone up there trying to... Yep. Don't think so. Not like that anyway. So yeah, that was pretty freaking horrific. And I mean, like, I remember my mum looking at me like, holy shit. Now, she didn't even give me like a holy shit face that whole time. But when I was looking through the roof, I was like, oh, I just want to, you know what I mean? I was so, that I will never, ever forget that pain in my whole entire life. I don't care how drugged I was at the end. So I was holding her hand. There was 3 attempts to do that. Ooh, yeah. Anyway, once my waters are broken, oh hell had broken fucking loose, because now my pain level was like here, and then all the way up here. Inductions are fucked. I'm just gonna put it out there, because there is no easy way to say it. Now, because it ramped up so quick, I suffer from anxiety a little bit, and it did not help my breathing. I was starting to panic. I was like, holy shit, it just came over me so quick. Anyway, started having mad anxiety. All the muscles were cramping, all of them were contracting, and by the time you knew it, I was begging for an epidural. And I mean begging. They tried to talk me out of it a few times, and I was like, bitch, give me that fucking epidural. Even my mum ended up going, oh no, she needs it now. So anyway, I had to wait. And then, you know, I swear, with all my births, at the point where you think you're going to die, that's when the baby is coming. And I already thought I was going to die, and the baby wasn't even there yet. So anyway, I thought I was dying. Then I have to wait for the epidural doctor or whatever. And he comes in, and I'm like to my mum, I'm going to die. Mum, I'm going to die. Like, what is this? Like, what the hell? The doctor comes in. Hi, my name is Sam. Me and my mum looked at each other. Sam is my dad's name. So hearing that, I looked at her and I was like, yeah, it was a bit of an emotional moment. And I was like, and then after that emotional moment, I was like, Sam, hurry up. Hurry up, inject me, do whatever you need to. Hurry up, Sam, I don't care. Oh, you might need to know about that. I don't care. Put it in my fucking back, bitch. So I had to hold on to Zaylee's dad, and I had to sit through 4 contractions completely still. I was like, oh God. And at what point, I was like, hold on. I don't want to be paralyzed. Hold on, I'm moving. Hold on, it's coming. Oh, bro, it was horrific. And then once the epidural was in, I was like, why did I not ask for this before? I was like, cloud freaking 10, 11, 12, okay? I was like, this is great. To the point where I fell asleep. I had a nap for about 2 hours. And then all of a sudden I woke up. Now, this might be a lot of information for some, but in the birthing world, this is not too much. When I woke up, I was like, oh hell. I was like, why do I feel like I need to shit? I was like, I thought I wasn't meant to feel anything. Like, what? I was like, nurse. I was like, what's going on? Is it wearing off? Because if it's wearing off, top it back the fuck up, okay? What's happening? Why am I feeling this? Anyway, so she's like, oh, I'll have a look. Oh, her head's halfway out. I was asleep like a minute ago. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So anyway, time to push apparently. I was like, oh Jesus, let me just put my juice box down. Like, holy shit. So pushed for about 20 minutes, baby come out, and it was so weird to push with an epidural. I was like, I don't even think I can feel my legs right now. But anyway, I hope this is working. Let me know down there. So yeah, then she was born, and I remember seeing her for the first time. I just cried. I cried with tears. I was like, that's her. Like, she's real. Like, she's just been in my tummy this whole time. I couldn't believe it when I first saw her. I was like, whoa. I have no words. After she was born and they put her on my chest, I just cried. I just cried for so long. I was so happy. I was like relieved it was over. And then after that, they were like, okay, now I'm gonna just need a little push. And I was like, hold on a minute, the baby's here. What do you mean? And she was like, you have to give birth to your placenta now. I was like, I'm still giving birth? I did not know that as a first-time mum. You have to push out your placenta after you just pushed out a baby. I was like, I gave birth to, she goes, give me a little cough. I'm like, oh, you did it. I was like, is it over? I was like, what is going on? Anyway, so it was over. But it was just the best feeling. I remember looking at it and just locking in her eyes, and I was like, this is my baby. This is my baby. I was so happy. Everyone was happy in the room. And yeah, then pretty much just the details of Zaylee, like getting her weighed and stuff. And I was like, oh, is she crying? Like, it was just, my world had changed. It had changed forever since then. So was my sleeping pattern. But all worth it, all jokes aside. Yeah, I just couldn't believe. It was a pretty long journey, but I will never forget it. And I thought I would do it all over again. Like, the pain is pretty horrific. What us women and mums go through is insane. It's absolutely insane. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of who I had with me to get me there. Overall, it was a really nice experience in the hospital. And then I stayed a few nights because I had a few troubles with breastfeeding straight away. It was very new to me. Anyway, we got there in the end, and taking her home was one of the most amazing feelings of, it's like that pain that was so horrific is just a memory, because she's here and she's my distraction and she's worth everything. So yeah, taking her home was one of the best feelings. I did like being in the hospital though, because obviously if anything goes wrong, or if I'm not doing something, like when I had a baby for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I've got to keep it alive. Like, what, am I doing everything right? Is she breathing? Like checking, like, you know, the little chest risers and shit. It is just like the most alert job you have, and it's non-stop. It's 24 hours, 24/7 for the rest of their life, pretty much. And that is where my journey began. Zaylee Jae is the most beautiful girl. I just am so lucky to have her. And I have never experienced a love just like any parent. I'm sure it's the same for dads as well as mums, but the love for a child, especially after you've just given birth to it, is just surreal. The feeling was surreal. It's amazing. It's like nothing I've ever experienced and probably will never experience in my life, but with that one little girl. And she changed my life. Without being a mum, I have no idea where I would be. I'd probably still be hopeless trying to freaking do, I don't know, cooking classes off YouTube. She has just taught me so much that you could never learn from anything else. She's my best friend, and she will always be my best friend. Stay tuned for the next video.